Hi, Jeff here with InspectorPrime. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be walking you through one of the most important features of the InspectorPrime system, and that is employee roles. Now, what employee roles do is assign different tasks that your employee could be performing on a job and ties their name to it so that when they go to a job site and do these different tasks, you can track the metrics associated with that specific job function. So, for example, when you get a job request for a client, you are not only assigning a home inspector to that job, you are potentially also assigning a sewer scope inspector, a radon tester, a mold tester, and so on and so forth. And while all those may be done by the same inspector on the job site, what those roles allow is for you to capture metrics on each one of the services that you offer as a company. Also, it helps with organizing your employees. So let's say one of your employees is able to drop off your radon test at the job site, but you have another one that is picking up the sample. By splitting those two responsibilities within the InspectorPrime system, it now becomes that much easier to manage who is responsible for what in the job workflow as it's going through all the different tasks associated with it to completion. So that was a lot of words. It'll be a lot easier once I explain it here in this tutorial. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So here's a screen you're hopefully very familiar with by now, but we're at the InspectorPrime office kind of homepage, if we want to call it that. To get to our role management, left side menu, click on role management. Before we go into the dashboard and listing, just like to highlight something I didn't mention at the beginning, but role management is also a critical linchpin of the payroll and commission management as well. So you'll see here when we click into the dashboard, we have 24 active roles. And sorry for the background noise, there's a little bit of thunder going on at my house at the moment. 24 active roles, and you can assign which roles are commission eligible. So let's take a look at our active roles here. So as we go down the list, we can see we have a vendor, Ben Grimm, who does our mold testing. So he is assigned a mold testing role. We have Betty, who is a virtual assistant. And then we have our two inspectors. So we can see here, we kind of have a list of different roles that are tied to an inspector. So in our system, we have Dick Grayson and Sam Wilson as our primary full-time home inspectors. So we'll start with Dick Grayson. You'll see his inspector role, obviously a very important one for an inspector, but then we'll kind of get down into these more service-oriented roles like water quality technician, well examiner, thermographer, WDO, service fee commissions, radon full service, drop-off pickup, like I mentioned, sewer scope, air quality, and then we're on to the next one, which are these roles are identical. We just made both of these inspectors have identical roles. And why this is important again, and I'll show you in the job and service management table, with each job that comes in, perhaps Dick Grayson is only doing a home inspection, but maybe he's also doing a well examination, or maybe he's also doing a sewer scope. So you assign these different roles on top of the role of inspector, or maybe some of these are standalone as well. It's really up to you how you want to use this, but just as an example of how we have it set up here. This is what allows you to really get the detailed metrics that only InspectorPrime can offer for your employees. So let's go ahead and take a look at the listings. Actually, before we look at listings, sorry, forgot to explain the rest of this page. As we're scrolling down here, you can see how all of your roles are split out. So you have our two inspectors here with their 11 roles each, and then Betty and Ben with their singular roles here as well. This will obviously be a lot more valuable to you if you have a large team of inspectors to kind of see how your work is being distributed across your workforce. By the role type, so you can see down to the role type how it's distributed, as well as commission eligibility. So obviously we have a preponderance of our different roles assigned as commissioned eligible, but if you don't or if you operate in a different payroll structure, then this will display differently. Okay, now moving down to listing. Let's go ahead and click into one of these. So we'll just do Dick Grayson's inspector role. So within the role profile, you can set it to active or inactive. So let's say Dick Grayson, he has an active, let's say, well examination certification that he lapses on. You'd be able to change this to inactive. Again, best practices within InspectorPrime is never delete anything once you've used it, because if you delete it, you're losing that historical data, which is incredibly valuable to you as a business owner as you're managing and growing your business. So we have the status, whether or not it is commission eligible. You assign the employee, and then you assign the role. And you can do a description of exactly what that role is. Now, this is where it gets really cool within InspectorPrime. So because we have different roles assigned to the different services, you can see exactly how much money you are making as an inspector, as a radon technician, doing sewer scopes, and you're getting the idea here. So this role management, again, is crucial to being able to paint a good financial picture of how your business is doing. Again, you can see the total commissions paid on this single service. So of the gross revenue here, we paid out $25,000 in commissions to our employees for actually performing the task. You got the average commission. We have it set at 30%. Obviously, you choose whatever that percentage may be if you even work with commissions in your business. You can see how many services it is tied to. So we have 187 times that we tied Dick Grayson to an inspection service. And then you can see the history. So we have it coming up here for a few different jobs, and then all the listed completed jobs that Mr. Grayson did as an inspector. So let's click into this pre-purchase inspection. So this is a service that's tied to the job that is owned by Jess Smith. So if we wanted to go in there and get the details on this job, we would just go into our job and service management table here and find the job tied to Jess Smith so that we could see all the details captured on that job. Now let's go over to an actual job to see how these different roles are distributed. So let's go over to the job and service management table. Okay, so I went ahead and moved over to the residential job and service table, and just to make sure that we are looking at a record that has some different job roles or employee roles in it, found Chris Clark here. So as we scroll down, we will come to the service management table. And as you can see here, like we saw when we were in the role management listing, we see the different job roles. So we have well testing that was requested, water quality testing that was requested, as well as pre-listing inspection that was requested by the client. These other fields, so like the foundation type, basement, property age, square footage, those are configured elsewhere in the platform, so we're not gonna worry about those right now. We're just gonna worry about the ones that are tied to our employee here. So let's scroll over to our roles table. So this is how we hand out our assignments to our employees. So we go in, this time slot was originally listed against Dick Grayson, so it's kind of a given that this job would go to Mr. Grayson unless for some reason something popped up and he wasn't able to do it. Nonetheless, you can check that at the very top of the page here. Just show you real quick. So we can see here, this was one of Dick Grayson's time slots. So he's going to get all the roles for this because he's the one executing the job. So first off, for well testing, we can see here that we have Dick Grayson listed as the well tester. But let's go ahead and take that off for now. and we'll just add it back on so you can see how it's done. So here starts the list of Dick Grayson's different roles. So let's scroll down, and here we have well examiner. We just click on that, and now Dick knows that he is the one that is performing this well test. Same goes for water quality test as well as the actual pre-listing inspection. Now once that is tied to Dick Grayson, we can scroll over, and against all these services we can decide if they're commissioned eligible. So for this job I selected that all three of the ones that are tied to his role are commission eligible. And it lists out the commission amount here. After you punch it in down here, I'll run you through that next. And then to actually assign the commission, we hit add a commission, and we select Dick Grayson. There's another tutorial that goes through all of the commission management stuff, so we won't get too far into it, but nonetheless, I'll kind of run you through the process. Once that commission is assigned here, it'll pop up down here in the commission management table, and then you go in and edit the various fields as you're tracking the commission approval, whether it's overdue, paid, canceled, all of that fun stuff. And this right here, the well examiner, water quality technician, and inspector are automatically brought over from this table up here when you assign Dick Grayson his different roles, if that makes sense. So again, it's very important that you create accurate job roles, because how you create your job roles dictates how fine your level of detail will be as you're capturing all these different metrics for the jobs that your employees are performing. And this is all automated again. It's not like once this commission popped up, I had to go in and reselect Dick Grayson as the well examiner. It, again, pulled it in from this table above in the service management. So that in a nutshell is the role management. We need to walk through how to create a new role. So to add a new role, top right corner, click add a new role, and then we'll fill out those fields that we saw before. So we'll just do a new one. So we'll add one for Sam. Let's say he went and he got his drone pilot license to do roof inspections. Now, when we submit, where did it pop up? Oh, sorry, it was already in there as a drone pilot. So, let's open this one up. Just take a look anyway. So now Sam Wilson has his drone pilot license, and you can tie it to different jobs and capture the details on how much money you were making off of that job role. Let's say he got his license and nobody ever requests, or you have no need to do drone roof inspections. You'll be able to go in here and see, hey, this service has not really made me any money. Let me just go ahead and change this to inactive because it's not bringing in any profit. And then maybe somebody does, you can change it back to active and start tracking it there. So pretty easy to create different roles. But again, what's really important is that you take the time to really go through your employees' capabilities and the different jobs that they might be performing on the job site, as well as what you want to offer to your customers, so that you can accurately list those here in the role management table, so that you can seamlessly tie them into your different jobs and be able to track in very great detail how your employees are distributing their work and how much money those different services are bringing into your business. Thank you for your time and for watching this video. And as always, thank you for being an InspectorPrime customer. See you on the next video.